In today's video, I'm going to be sharing 3 essential spice mixes: an all-purpose mix, a Ghanaian all-purpose mix, and an Umami savory spice mix, which I make myself to take my recipes from simple to delicious. We will cover both indigenous West African spices as well as imported spices, how to mix them together and to get the best flavor. If this is the type of video you are interested in, please keep watching. So over the years, I have accumulated a lot of spices. I live with a mother who does not believe in Maggi cubes, so I have had to learn how to make my own spice blends. If you want to know what they are, make sure to check out my pantry tour, which I have linked above. First, we're going to be making a plain all-purpose seasoning, something that can be used in all types of recipes for a very nice savory flavor. I basically researched what is included in all-purpose seasoning and Maggi cube and just went from there. We're starting with a base of dehydrated vegetables. I bought these at my local bulk store, but you can get a variety of them on Amazon. Then we are adding some garlic powder and onion powder for savoriness. My onion powder doesn't have an anti-caking agent, so it cakes really easily, and that's why it looks like a ball. Then goes in some nutritional yeast, which is packed with umami flavor and is also fortified with B vitamins in many cases. I added a trifecta of herbs from basil to oregano to rosemary for a diversity of flavors, but you can feel free to use whatever herbs you want. I am West African, so I needed a little bit of heat in my spices, so I added some paprika for both color and a subtle sweetness. My own addition to this is dried shiitake mushrooms because they have a really great umami flavor, so I had to sneak it in there. The next ingredient is MSG, or monosodium glutamate. This might be a bit of a controversial ingredient, especially concerning anti-Asian racism. Glutamine is an amino acid that occurs naturally in vegetables like tomatoes or even cheese, and MSG is a sodium glutamate salt. It is perfectly fine for you unless you're allergic to it, and you can find it in a lot of your favorite chips and cookies. I find that MSG on its own is really meh, but a little bit of it in seasoning helps to bring everything together, so that's why I'm using it. But you can feel free to leave it out or sub with salt. I make my spices salt-free because I like to control the salt content of my meals on a case-by-case basis. I ended up doubling the spice mix, grinding it in my coffee-turned spice blender, and stored it in an airtight container. This stuff goes on everything, and I make it at least once a month. Next is the Ghanaian-inspired all-purpose seasoning. I think what makes Ghanaian cooking unique is our use of spices of both indigenous and imported, specifically Southeast Asian spices. You can find a lot of these spices in our stews and jollof rice, and everyone makes their own mix differently. The base of this spice blend is anise seeds, which we call nkete in Twi, and it has a bit of a licorice flavor. Some people also add fennel seeds, which also has a very similar flavor profile. Ginger is also a Ghanaian flavor favorite, so it's gonna hold a big spot in this mix. Rosemary adds a really nice fragrance to any dish, so it's going in there. And next goes in some star anise, which also has a bold, licoricey, warm flavor. The next spice is my favorite, which is calabash nutmeg. The name is a bit of a misnomer because it doesn't taste like nutmeg. It is hard to describe, but it's a warm, almost vanilla-like flavor. Then goes in some onion powder for savoriness, a little bit of cloves, which we call pepper, some bird's eye chili, which you can omit if you don't like spicy food, then some coriander seeds and cumin seeds, again for the warm, savory flavors. The last component is a local red peppercorn, also known as grains of paradise or alligator pepper, which we also call efomuisa in Twi. Tastes like a peppercorn, but with a sharp, earthy undertone. I gave all of the spice mix a good mix and then grinded it in my spice grinder and stored it in an airtight container. You can see the trend here. There's a lot of warm spices. Most of these you can find at a grocery store or an Indian store, and you can get the African spices from local African stores or even Etsy. I've left a few vendors that sell similar spices in North America and England where you can purchase some of these spices. The last spice mix is my favorite, and it is a West African umami spice blend. We are starting with a flavor punch, which is fermented locust beans. What makes it unique is that it is an alkaline fermented oil seed that has quite a peculiar smell. It's almost like a meaty, gamey smell that is really hard to describe and unfortunately cannot be substituted. Then goes in some anise seeds for some warm flavor, and my two favorite components, the local red pepper or alligator pepper I've previously described, as well as what we call Guinea cubeb, or by its local names Esrowisa and Uziza seeds. These peppercorns are like black peppercorns with a tail, and they have a really rich pepper flavor with a tang to it. A great substitute would be lemon pepper or black peppercorn with a dash of dried lemon powder. To add some more savory flavor, we're adding some onion powder, garlic powder, ginger powder, and some bird's eye chili, as well as nutmeg. Yes, nutmeg, trust me. It adds a really nice sweet aroma that I find that ties everything together. That is pretty much it. Give it a good mix and then grind it in a coffee/spice grinder and store in an airtight container. You can use all of these spices in a variety of dishes, from tomato stews to soups and a ton of indigenous recipes. I have left a link to a few recipes you can use these spices and a blog post that has all of these spice mix and their quantities. If you like this type of video, please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more plant-based West African inspired recipes, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.